nearly 100 British members of Parliament are calling on the government to allow for the expedited evacuation of Gaza's sick and injured children to the UK. Now, a letter was written by a cross-party group warning the government about the imminent risk to Gaza's children requiring medical treatment. The group highlights that Israel's drip feeding of aid and supplies into Gaza is pushing the healthcare system to the brink of collapse, worsening an already catastrophic humanitarian situation. Now, the letter is calling for children and their families to have the option to apply for asylum in the UK once their treatment is completed. Let's bring in Afzal Khan, a Labour Member of Parliament in the UK and one of the members who signed that letter, joining us live now from London. Thank you for speaking to Al Jazeera. We've just heard there from Hani, our reporter in Gaza, on the dire situation, the airstrikes and, of course, the starvation. We're seeing the pictures every day. What prompted you to sign this letter, especially as people are being slammed and criticised in the UK, often voices not being heard when it comes to the situation in Gaza?
Well, I think the situation is clear to the whole world. We are seeing almost for 2 years now, day after day, the slaughtering of innocent people, the damaging of the whole infrastructure, and this the medical side as well is virtually destroyed. So the need is there. And I think the reality is the world is shouting, telling this extremist right-wing Netanyahu's government to stop. His own military is telling him to stop. There's nothing there for military to do. His own people are coming on the street even now, blocking the roads and everything. And yet he's escalating. When the world is thinking that this is moving towards genocide, war crimes, or ethnic cleansing, all these terrible things are happening. I think really at the heart of it, any human being in the world, they have a responsibility to be part of that human family and therefore to speak out and do whatever they can to stop this madness. And this is why you see that in the British Parliament as well, 96 cross-party MPs have written this letter that one of the most innocent people in this whole conflict are the children. And these children are suffering. We're looking at something like 15,000 people who need urgent medical help, who are at the risk of death. So we need to do something. At the moment, I'm pleased that the government is prioritizing this area. But the hard truth is, we've only assisted 3 people. That clearly is not good enough. Britain needs to do its share, and therefore they need to scale up. And this letter is asking precisely that.
And do you think the government is obligated in any way to respond to that letter? What are you hoping to achieve as well? Are you hoping that more action is taken sooner rather than later, before it's too late?
Absolutely. Well, I think, look, there are a number of things that needs to happen. On the widest issue is straightforward, it's clear that we want to see an immediate ceasefire. This government has been calling for that. I think there's a whole big issue now, what this government is trying to do with the Israeli government, and that is really the viability of two-state solution. And this is why I think it's important that in the United Nations General Assembly, Britain now recognizes Palestine. There's a huge support for this, both in the parliament and in the public at large in Britain. And then I think the third point is in this letter is the 4 or 5 things we are saying, and that we need more clarity from the government. One is the timeline, how this thing will be done, how asking them to make sure they coordinate with the World Health Organization and civil societies who on the ground can be able to help us. We need to make sure the government puts the medical need as a clinical necessity point, as the key in deciding who needs to be helped now. And within that is making sure there's a family unification, so those parents or close relatives can support those children who need this as well. And then furthermore, we need clarity. What will be the legal status of these people once they come here as well? And finally, the key issue at the moment is since October 23, the biometric center in Gaza has been closed, and this is one of the requirements for the visa. So they need to stop this and then do this process after. So change that. So these are the 6 things that this letter is asking. And I believe the government will look at this seriously. They are already accepting the need to scale up, and we will see progress.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Afzal Khan, a Labour member of Parliament in the UK that has signed a letter asking for the British government to allow more Palestinians that need medical aid into the UK.
Don't miss out, get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.